I'm Charlotte Warburton. I have a dual role at Deloitte. One is head of transport, and second is our sustainability and climate lead for public sector. So I'm lucky with the dual hat because it affords me two opportunities. In the sustainability and climate role, I get to work with government to set strategy and policy to move the dial on transition to net zero. And then with the transport role, I actually get to work with clients to implement the policy and strategy and help them move forward with their science-based targets. I mean, moving people in cities and regions, to do it effectively, we actually need to join up. So when we host the panel, we're going to be looking at, for me, the progress across the different modes to date, and then actually how do we get better collaboration and join up more than what we're doing currently to move the dial in this space. It was published in March that what we're doing globally isn't enough, and the UN are encouraging us to accelerate. How do we do that acceleration at a city and regional level in a way that both solves the net zero challenge, but also helps with levelling up inequality and transition across the different areas? So we're going to look at the collaboration point, and then the other point for me is around how do we actually affect change? How do we create a national movement and actually get citizens to understand how they can play their role in this and put this at the heart of their daily lives? I think the collaboration we're looking for is how do you bring together public sector, private sector and financiers together to actually create the solutions of tomorrow. I don't think we can do that in isolation. How do we use the innovations and technologies that are out there already potentially in the private sector and allow public sector organisations and citizens to harness them? We've seen some insights elsewhere globally, example being green cement. A public sector organisation wanted to set up a grant scheme to get SMEs to develop the technology for green cement. Actually, the technologies are already available. It's about how do we incentivise those organisations that have the technologies to use them in a competitive landscape where maybe it's not deemed favourable. So it's getting that real conversation and join up for me, which brings together the collaboration, but also the strategy and policy to make it work. The Deloitte Circularity Gap Report focuses on 6 scenarios to help the UK materially cut its carbon footprint. One of those is how we rethink transport mobility. For me, you can look at it from different lenses. How do we get people to reduce their transport need or avoid using it unless they have to, which is obviously at odds and tensions with getting ridership back on things like rail. How do we leverage more energy efficient vehicles? How do we accelerate the transition to energy efficient vehicles? And how do we better distribute the capacity we have? So rather than having more roads and more cars, how do we optimise the capacity of the network, which ultimately will actually drive new innovative business models, greater car sharing. It will potentially change insurance policies. There's a load of lenses to it that I think are really exciting. For me, myself and Deloitte were coming because actually it's the first in its kind of this kind of event. We're passionate and committed to this topic. It's the heart of what we do as a business. And I mentioned earlier, you've really got to team up and join up to solve the challenge. For me, having all those different organisations under one roof over 2 days is a real opportunity to have those conversations and connect with the different sectors and the different industries, to have conversations that have not been had yet. I'm really hoping we can come with an open mind, make connections and really get together around some missions to solve this problem. One key message I'd take is you need to team up to speed up and win the race to net zero. And actually I'm hoping Innovation Zero is going to give us that opportunity to find more people to bring into the team.